Hello, and thank you for joining us today on this presentation. The focus of this presentation is on increased student achievement and district effectiveness with Microsoft Azure and EIS education in K through 12. There was a survey done from District Administration magazine that surveyed district leaders to find out what their top priorities are. This is a list of the top priorities that were outlined by that survey. And Microsoft and EIS Education have partnered together to come up with a solution that can help districts and schools accomplish these priorities. And that'll be the focus of the presentation. My name is Patrick Jones. I'm the Microsoft South Central Education Account Manager. I am going to do an overview of Microsoft Azure. Since the solution that EIS Education has created runs on an Azure backbone, I want to give an introduction of what the solution is so that you can understand the overall solution in complete detail. Then Scott Fields, Senior Solutions Consultant for EIS Education, will provide an overview of the solution that EIS Education has created to help school districts save money and accomplish the top priorities outlined in that survey. And then we'll close with Richard Pena, Director of Technology and Business Intelligence at Texas Khan Academies, will provide some information on really two things. Number one, why they chose the Microsoft Azure platform for their hosted infrastructure. And then they will also talk about how they use the EIS education solution that runs on that Azure platform. So really quickly, I just want to talk about some of the great things that Microsoft is doing in education. I think it's real important for everyone to know the great things that Microsoft brings to the table. Number one, as far as devices, we have lowered the cost of not only PCs and laptops, but also tablet devices to help get devices in the hands of students. We've also created a whole platform of tools for learning, such as Office 365. Office 365 is free for all academic organizations that provide a platform of hosted solutions such as email, SharePoint, and other services. We also have created Bing for Schools that allow a safe search platform for your students to search and do research. And we're also providing OneNote for free for all academic organizations, as well as OneDrive Pro for business, so storage in the cloud for your students and your faculty staff. We also provide training and professional development. We've created a great network of teachers that communicate called the Microsoft Educator Network. Through this network, they can get access to training for Microsoft solutions like Office, but we also provide a lot of free tools for teachers to implement in the classroom. We also provide IT Academy. It provides online training so that students can take online training and it sets them up to earn certifications that they can use to get jobs right out of high school or take with them into college. And then finally, we've created a great manageability solution that allow not only the district to manage the devices in the district, but also allows teachers the ability to manage the devices within their classroom. So this just outlines a lot of the great solutions that Microsoft is providing for education. But we want to take that one step further. We want to help school districts take advantage of the Microsoft Azure platform. So what is the Azure platform? Well, when you think of Azure, think of a data center with servers that provide extreme compute power, storage capabilities, data and networking services. And this is all managed by highly trained professionals who have gone through extensive background checks within a secure environment. These professionals monitor and maintain the servers. They as such as managing cooling systems. They also update the software. So really, Microsoft Azure is no different than maybe the infrastructure that you have within your own district or environment, where essentially all of the schools within the district are connecting to the data center building within your district to access the data that they use every day. But instead of accessing your data center building, think of it as them accessing the data in a huge, secure Microsoft data center that's being protected. Microsoft provides through Azure infrastructure as a service as well as platform as a service. And Azure has been recognized and ranked by Gartner as an industry leader in both infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. So with Windows Azure, we're really focused on 4 pillars. One of them is to move faster. This allows the power of Azure. When you set up Azure, you get access to an administration console that allows you to access the services in our data centers with the touch of a button. You can set up virtual servers within minutes and be up and running depending on the needs of your organization. We also want to save you money. So when you think about servers and you think about what you're trying to do within your district, you can spend a lot of money on hardware and software for a particular project, and in some cases those projects never come to completion, but you still have that hardware and software that you invested. We save you money by allowing you to set up servers in the cloud, use the servers when you need them, and only pay for what you use. And so this could save you money. So if the project doesn't work, you only pay for the amount of Azure services that you utilized in the process. Also, the third pillar is integrating on-premise applications and data. So you are probably, as an academic organization, receiving data from from a lot of different sources. One of those sources could be your student information system. Some of that could, another location could be your financial data. One other location could be maybe your financial software. All of these different systems are in different places and can be routed up through Azure in order for you to maintain the platform. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as it relates to the solution that EIS Education is bringing to the table. And then finally, scale on demand. With the easy to use admin console through Azure, it provides you the ability to set up servers on the fly when you need them and when you want them. And as your needs grow within the district or within your organization, you're able to utilize the Azure services to grow with you. So why consider Microsoft Azure? Well, first of all, it's an always-on solution. Windows Azure is the same platform that runs some of Microsoft's top businesses, including Skype, which is one of the top communication platforms in the world, Office 365, Bing, one of the largest search engines in the world, and Xbox, one of the largest gaming networks in the world. So it's the same platform, and we have our best interest is to keep this platform up and running and secure. It's 99.9% availability service level agreements provided through Azure, so that you can guarantee that it's always up and running and secure. 24/7 tech support is provided, as well as round-the-clock service health monitoring. We monitor the platform constantly to make sure that it's not only secure, but that it's up and running at the ultimate level. Also, Azure has privacy. And what we mean by privacy, it's really about your data. You own and control your data. You own all your data that you put in Azure, and you have the ability to control where that data goes within the platform. And again, it's a very secure platform as it relates to your data. And that brings me to compliance. Microsoft conforms to many global standards. There are about 18 different compliances that we conform to across the whole world. To name just 3 of them, we comply to FERPA, which is very important within academic organizations, conform to HIPAA, and also Microsoft is one of the only cloud solutions that's FedRAMP certified. So that means that FedRAMP is a mandatory U.S. government program that provides a standardized approach to security assessment. So just naming those 3 compliances tells you a lot about how the Azure platform conforms to these global standards. Really quickly, I just want to show you a kind of a timeline that really shows you our investment in Windows Azure. We have 20 plus data centers, and we started our first data center in 1989. So we've been in the cloud business for a long time. We operate Microsoft Azure in about 11 different data centers around the world, plus 2 in China. Microsoft is also responsible for the trustworthy computing. We created the SDL, which has become the industry standard for developing secure software. Also, we've created security centers of excellence, which is protecting Microsoft customers by combating evolving threats. So we do a lot within the cyber community to track down and protect users online. And then finally, as I said earlier, we abide by different compliancy standards throughout the entire world. So this just shows you a map of all of our data centers. At this point, we have over 100 plus data centers. One thing I want to mention when you take a look at this map, we may have data centers all around the world, but what your data in the United States stays within data centers that are in the United States. And you have the ability to determine where your data is held. For example, here is the data center in San Antonio. You can see this is a large, secure building. You see at the top right-hand corner the stacks of servers, and over to the top left you see what we call pods. And these pods are basically pods of servers that are maintained, and if they get under a certain service level, we will go ahead and we will transfer the data. So because the Azure cloud is redundant, meaning we have backups of the original data, we'll move out one of those pods and move in a fresh pod when those servers are having issues. So highly secure platform that we're offering through Windows Azure. So now that I've given you an overview of the Microsoft Azure platform, I want to now turn it over to Scott Fields to talk to you a little bit about EIS education and the solution they have to offer for academic organizations that run on this Azure platform. So Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Patrick. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As Patrick just said, part of my purpose as the Senior Solutions Consultant for EIS Education is just to give a little insight into what EIS Education does, who we are, and a little bit about our background and how we can help a K-12 school district. So briefly, EIS Education is a trusted transformation partner for K-12 school districts. We help K-12 districts of all sizes achieve exceptional performance through a powerful combination of advice, through a network that we have of former superintendents and educational leaders, through analysis, and through our solutions. We empower district leaders to achieve the following: increased attendance and enrollment, individualized instruction, improved graduation rates, early targeted interventions, greater academic achievement, differentiated professional development, superior parent engagement, one-to-one instruction in and out of the classroom, standardized curriculum, instruction, and assessment content, improved overall outcomes, reductions in capital expenses on technology, and the development of newer revenue options. So in partnership with Microsoft, the next generation cloud-based solutions that EIS Education offers make it possible for districts with only a few hundred students and a limited budget to enjoy the same transformational capabilities as one with tens of thousands of students and a substantial budget. So a little bit more about EIS Education, what's unique about us. While most school districts partner with third-party solution providers that have their own cloud, and those districts' critical data resides in that cloud, we do the opposite. We provide school districts with their own private Microsoft Azure environments, which we can then migrate all critical data into while still allowing your district to continue partnering with your current solutions providers and providing the flexibility needed to add new partners and resources. So why might that be important? Well, when the school district can own its own critical data instead of relying on third-party software service providers with their own clouds, educational leaders can then gain better insights and drive transformation inside that school district and not be reactive. Inside a school district's private Azure environment, EIS can then build an entire integrated district development platform that aggregates all this critical data and allows visibility of this data in real time, which allows for better decision making at the district office level, at the campus level, and in the classroom. And all this is offered as a managed Azure service through a co-op, making EIS Education your one-stop shop for solutions that are scalable, that are flexible, and affordable. Now, we do get asked from time to time, why did EIS Education decide to partner with Microsoft? And the reason why is out of all the cloud environments available in the K-12 marketplace, we really feel that Microsoft Azure is the most robust option available to school districts currently and moving forward. Because Microsoft has such a significant footprint already in K-12 nationwide, with data centers all around the United States, including that one Patrick showed in San Antonio, and because of the level of support that Microsoft customers receive, it makes sense for EIS Education to partner with Microsoft Azure. Because of our relationship with Azure, EIS is able to rapidly develop and deploy solutions that are scalable for any size school district, as well as offer a level of security features that ensure FERPA compliance. Also, because the services that already exist in that Azure environment, like Office 365 and OneNote, the Education Data Factory and the Data Warehouse, SharePoint, SQL databases, and Microsoft's Enrollment for Education Solutions program, we feel that partnering with Microsoft Azure allows EIS to help more school districts transform and achieve more. So I'd like to give you a little bit more background about who EIS Education is as we take a look at the next slide. We like to say that we are a true one-stop shop for any education agency's data needs. We can tie together multiple sources of data, offer multiple solutions that are tailored for any district's diverse and ever-changing needs, and we can connect a variety of technologies and in-use devices. We've been doing this to help K-12 school districts since 2012-2013, and our purpose is to build a newer generation of educational technologies. Education is changing, it's transforming, and the driving forces behind that transformation are one, technology obviously, but two, data. And so what we try to do is leverage that Microsoft Azure solution and make it scalable to help school districts save on cost. We understand also at EIS that technology and data, how they're transforming K-12 education, and we're poised to offer assistance as we all move into this brave new world and we're able to help through advisory services, analysis, and solutions. The days of charting a district's course by anecdotal means of evidence are gone. Now, everything depends on critical data from a myriad of different sources, some of which can take several weeks or even months to receive, especially from state and federal reporting agencies. Now, EIS can help you tie all these loose data ends together in real time at the click of a few buttons, and you can gain valuable insights from that data that you now own inside your own Azure tenant. Now, let's take a look at what the typical blueprint for today's IT department looks like. We take a look at the next slide. What we see is that the current blueprint really reflects a lot of the needs of the past. And when we say in the past, we're talking about 2 to 5 years ago, it's obvious school looks a lot different than it did when we were all students. If you've been in education longer than a decade, and I was when I was in public education, then you've seen these changes happen at light speed. Changes in processes, changes in instruction and content delivery, changes in the way that we keep records of everything that happens inside of a school or in a district. Educational technology initiatives and the need for constant data, as we've said, are the driving forces for this change, but today's typical K-12 school district blueprint is sometimes a bit behind this transformative change, which makes it difficult for districts to chart a course for increased achievement and effectiveness. Now, as we take a look at this slide, I want to just point out a couple of things. The current blueprint usually revolves around some kind of a school district's premise-based solution. Now, whether or not you're using virtual desktop implementation, what you do have, you have some pros with this system. You can select those best-of-breed systems for your district, figure out what your needs are, and you're going to pay for what you use in a lot of cases based on the users and based on how much it's used. But there's some cons with this system too. For one, your data is going to be spread across a lot of vendor systems, especially out in other clouds. And when it comes to those K-12 initiatives that require you to integrate that data across all these different points, you need student data, you need testing data, you need finance data, you need operational data, all sorts of data, and it gets very difficult to keep all that data together and compile it into customized reports in the current situation that school districts usually have. It's hard to chart a course for any school district with that sort of arrangement, and it gets really difficult when you're anchored by an inability to make sense of all that data that you have access to. So what we'd like to do is take a look at the next slide as we revisit the district administration report from January 2015, where K-12 school district leaders were asked to rank their top priorities. This slide, which Patrick showed us a few minutes ago, shows the results of that survey. School leadership's top 5 priorities were improving student outcomes, improving faculty's instructional practices, implementing new learning standards and assessments, ensuring successful implementations of new technology initiatives, and coping with funding cuts. And what we see is that EIS Education Solutions, specifically at Integrated District Development Platform, address these chief concerns among today's educational leaders. So let's take a look at what EIS Education offers with Microsoft Azure as sort of the beginning of that solution, as the platform for that solution. When it comes to lower cost and better efficiency without sacrificing security, EIS and Microsoft Education have partnered to create a private Azure solution for any school district, no matter its size. Now, small school districts can have the same capabilities as large school districts thanks to the scalability, flexibility, and affordability of Microsoft Azure environment. A district only pays for the amount of cloud space that it uses, and it can be scaled up or down very easily based on need during certain times of the year. Now, inside this cloud environment, EIS's District Data Hub allows you to move your district's critical data over from third-party sources that you've been depending on to store your data for you, and we can securely store it inside of your own Azure tenant. Once inside this environment, EIS solutions that make up our integrated district development platform will enable you to use this data to drive instruction and increase performance inside of your district. So now, instead of compiling reports from various sources, like your student information system, your testing system, your special education system, for instance, to view all that data and make interpretations on your own, an educational leader can run a customized report for individuals and or student populations that include all of this data, which allows more insight to be gained and enables quicker interventions when needed. Now let's take a look at specifically this integrated district development platform as a solution that EIS education offers. As we go to the next slide, we'll see that, as we've already stated, EIS does provide advisory assistance, we provide analysis, but we also provide solutions. That's the focus of what we're taking a look at right now. This integrated district development platform makes up the body of the solutions that we provide. It's for local education agencies. These solutions are secure and FERPA compliant. They allow districts to own their own data. This platform, it's integrated. When we say it's integrated, that means that these solutions use the data that's already in your district's data warehouse inside your Azure environment, and it includes dashboards for board members, district leadership, campus administrators, counselors, and teachers. It includes analysis tools to identify at-risk students and then develop RTI strategies and monitor their effectiveness. It provides collaboration amongst educators inside your school district. It provides teacher and principal professional development, ongoing professional development throughout the year in this environment. It also allows for parent engagement. We can also provide for you in this solution a content repository for curriculum instruction and assessment, one-to-one instruction delivery, and also monitoring of performance metrics. Now, let's take a look at a couple of specific solutions inside this integrated district development platform. So let's take a look at Analytica. This is our decision support suite, and it enables any educational leader to take all of a school or district's raw data and information collected and turn that into useful data. It's a very user-friendly interface, and it allows state or district administrators to track info, analyze data, and collaborate with each other. You can compare schools with other schools inside your district. You can compare students with other students in opposite classrooms or in the same classroom. And you can make insightful decisions based on what you discover. So with Analytica, any user has sign-on access to dashboards for accountability, for achievement, and for performance tracking at the district, campus, classroom, and individual student level for all state, federal, and performance-based monitoring. And let's take another look at Analytica. Here's another. This slide shows the look of some of the different tiles that Analytica offers. These live tiles continually update data on dashboards, live dashboards, and can easily be set to change colors from green to yellow to red. Now, these visual alarms can be set to activate when data crosses certain trigger levels. Views can also be configured to allow certain users eyes-only access. For instance, a classroom teacher will not have access to any financial information if that's how a school district wants Analytica to be configured for themselves. Along with student and academic data, Analytica also displays finance, administration, and operations data to authorized users. All data stays in your secure K-12 One Cloud that we build for you using Microsoft Azure. These EIS decision support applications, this Analytica gives teachers and administrators a chance to improve outcomes and ultimately achieve more through student performance. Now, with the advanced analytics that are offered in Analytica as well, administrators and educators at the district and campus level can now compare those campuses, classrooms, and student groups inside a district. They can make those interventions, and they can make decisions based on real-time data. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at another suite that we provide in this integrated district development platform. This is Mentory. Mentory, very simply, is a one-of-a-kind, fully self-contained unit designed solely for professional development. It allows a school district to, or a professional development coordinator to, create its own rubric or use or edit a pre-existing one. You can create opportunities for educators to receive training on instructional technology. With this suite, you can allow teachers to collaborate with peers and mentors inside the school district. You can provide mentors and classroom teachers the ability to update their professional development plans regularly throughout the academic year, and you can even create full professional development reports. So by helping districts develop exceptional educators, EIS education is helping transform K-12 education in school districts. Let's take a look at another screenshot of Mentory. Now, educators and instructional coaches will find that Mentory is very user-friendly and an effective platform for managing tasks related to ongoing professional development, progress, and collaboration, all in a fully self-contained PD environment. Teachers will have dashboard access to messages, task and calendars, training resources like videos, articles, blogs. They can take a look at evaluations in the past or current ones, a personalized PD plan. Also, administrators can access previous evaluations of individual teachers if they know they have another observation coming up and they want to check the progress to see if a certain measurable, a certain dimension maybe it needed to be improved upon. They can take a look at that again. What's also wonderful about Mentory, it is available for mobile devices, smartphones, and tablets. So for any administrator or evaluator on the go, you can walk into a classroom, you can use your tablet or your smartphone to conduct any walkthrough observation, and you can even take a picture or record video and attach it to that evaluation instrument and keep it in that file. So we really feel like Mentory is perfect for any administrator who, you know, has a very busy day ahead of them, has a lot of walkthrough observations to do, and needs to be on the go. Now let's take a look at SchoolArc. And what SchoolArc is EIS's education solution that allows for more parent engagement. So now all stakeholders can communicate and collaborate in a way that serves to help every student reach his or her full potential. Let's take a look at another screenshot of SchoolArc to give you an idea what it looks like. SchoolArc is compatible and fully mobile, and it can be operated on the following systems: Windows, Android, and iOS. So with SchoolArc, you or you know, anyone in your organization can send and receive secure FERPA-compliant messages to other teachers, students, or parents. Now, this isn't email. These are secure messages inside this system. You can follow blogs. You can post announcements that then get sent out to the different stakeholders inside your district. Or you can also manage your calendar. So with SchoolArc, for use for educators and for parents, it allows more engaged collaboration so we can help students achieve more with the help of the entire community, not just the school, but also with the parents' involvement. Now, we also get some questions sometimes about, you know, what does it take to deploy this solution? So as we take a look at the next slide, you know, is the EIS education solution affordable? Well, you know, the cost for developing and deploying this system for any school district is going to depend on many variables, including how many students are enrolled in a district, how much storage space the district might need, how much configuration will be needed, and what kind of training needs to be provided, and so on and so forth. But we do feel that when a K-12 school district compares the cost of running their current premise-based environment with the Microsoft Azure environment that contains the EIS Integrated District Development Platform, they're going to find cost savings and increased efficiencies. EIS Education is pleased to offer, after this webinar, we'd like to offer you a cost comparison for any school district. So if you'd like to compare our solution or parts of it to the environment you already use in your district, just contact us. Have the information on the screen. You can email me, or you can go on our website, eiseducation.com, and click on the Contact Us link in the middle of the home page, and you can request this, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. Now, how complicated is this solution? Well, it's designed for educators to use. It's designed for to be as efficient as possible for any user in a school district. It has a very simple interface. It has a high level of customization for individual school district needs. We can set up the entire solution for you inside an Azure environment, and we're available to offer ongoing support when you need it. So in other words, this is really a turnkey solution offered by EIS Education to any school district. So with all that said, what we'd like to do now is introduce Mr. Richard Pena. Mr. Pena is the Director of Technology and Business Intelligence at Texans Can Academies, which is headquartered in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Mr. Pena. So please, thank you everyone for attending, and look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate that. My name is Richard Pena. I am the Director of Technology and Business Intelligence at Texans Can Academies. Texans Can Academies is one of the largest charter schools in Texas. We currently have 11 high schools throughout the state, and we're one of the oldest charters as well. We focus primarily on servicing academically at-risk youth. Our mission is to provide the highest quality education for all students, especially those who have struggled in a traditional high school setting in order to ensure their economic independence. Again, we have 11 statewide schools. We enroll about 8,000 students a year. We graduate approximately 1,500 a year, and since our inception in 1985, we've graduated over 100,000 students. So that's 100,000 kids that may very well have never gotten their high school diploma and are now productive members of society and paying taxes instead of utilizing some of our government resources. So we're very excited about the work we do, and technology plays a big part. On the next slide, we are a Microsoft Azure customer. We were a Microsoft Azure customer even before the EIS implementation. So we'll talk about our move to the cloud and some of the things that drove us to get there, and some of the fears and doubts that we had about moving to the cloud. The first thing, what drove us to go to the cloud? And first of all, I want to communicate I'm not a big fan of the word cloud. Okay, cloud is really not a term that strikes that evokes a sense of strength and security, or even anything physical. Okay, we had a lot of fears and doubts going to the cloud, and you'll find that that a lot of those are mainly misconceptions and myths. But the things that drove us to the cloud were primarily funding cuts. We, dealing with academically at-risk and economically disadvantaged kids, we utilize a lot of funds to deliver basic services and compute services and technology to our students. E-rate funding, anyone who utilizes that knows the volatility over the last few years and what all's involved in getting that money. There's been a huge question mark over Category 2 and Priority 2 E-rate funds. That caused us to really dramatically rethink how we use and deliver technology services. We just can't count on whether we're going to get the money and when we're going to get the money. The planning cycles are, you have to start planning well in advance, then you have to wait a significant amount of time for it to fund, and by then dynamics have changed. The technology that you anticipated needing 2 years ago, the dynamics in the school environment now have changed dramatically, and you find that, hey, what I requested and what I'm able to buy does not really match up with my needs any longer. So the funding, it was a huge issue. The funding cuts really impacted not just our ability to procure servers, but our ability to manage and support servers, to buy maintenance contracts, get additional support to supplement our existing support team. So that was a huge factor. The traditional server deployment and support model was just not going to work for us. The new realities just didn't line up with what our needs were. So we had to find a way to cut support maintenance costs and break out of the capital-intensive hardware refresh cycle, and the cloud offered that opportunity. Now the next slide. Now, as we were looking to move to the cloud, thinking that the promises the cloud makes, sounds pretty intriguing, but man, there's a lot of things about the cloud that we're just not sure of. It's really uncharted territory, especially in the educational space. So we had a lot of the same fears, uncertainties, and doubts that I'm sure many people have when they're considering the cloud. Again, I don't like the term cloud. It really doesn't evoke that sense of security and strength. And we found that that's not really true. Okay, the data is not floating around in some seemingly fluffy white cloud that's easily penetrated. It's actually in secure, highly secured, brick and mortar, physical locations running on physical servers with physical switches and routers and infrastructure with a team of a highly expert team managing and maintaining that infrastructure for us. The reality is it's really easy to deploy. The Azure tools allow us to quickly implement the infrastructure and the technology that we need in the cloud much quicker than it takes to deploy a physical server on premise. the existing Microsoft knowledge that we have, because we are a Microsoft shop, as I'm sure most schools are. The existing knowledge that we have in deploying servers, configuring and getting them up and running, easily translates to the Azure cloud. So really, we achieved enhanced productivity and enhanced support capabilities and deployment capabilities through use of the singular, very robust tool in the admin console, and also found that a lot of our existing Microsoft knowledge easily transferred over. We really did not have to retrain any of our employees to be able to continue to deploying and supporting. Next slide. Okay, the other one is it's complicated and difficult to manage. Okay, the same virtues that relate to deployment really apply here as well. It's really no more complicated than managing premise-based technology. In fact, with the provided management tools, it's actually easier. The tools for managing are very intuitive and, although powerful, are very easy to use. Knowledge of managing and maintaining our existing premise-based servers easily translated and transferred into managing Azure-based servers in the cloud. I didn't have to retrain anyone again. Another added bonus is a lot of the tools we were currently using. System Center Configuration Manager, SCCM, SCOM, System Center Operations Manager, and a lot of the tools we were already using to add additional management capabilities and monitoring capabilities, monitoring up, down, and performance and application utilization and performance. A lot of those same tools easily went up to the cloud and allowed us to extend our management platform into the cloud and use those same tools to manage and monitor performance and availability of cloud servers. Plus, it also allowed us to extend Active Directory. So as a Microsoft environment, we have Active Directory. The servers in the cloud are a part of our singular domain. It allows us to easily manage it. We manage permissions and policies exactly the same way, using the exact same Active Directory tools that we use for premise. And since it's being part of the same domain, the same security policies and everything apply. So not a new tool we had to learn to administer and maintain, and it's just as secure, if not more secure, than our premise-based solutions. Next slide. Okay, I kind of touched on that a little bit previously, but the cloud is not secure. That was a big thing that we kind of had to overcome. We were very pleased to find out that Microsoft Azure is FERPA and compliant with a lot of the other security standards. Cloud services are inherently secure. They're the most secure. They're more secure than most ISD-based premises, just by virtue of the fact that it has to be. They have huge customers that are using the cloud. In the case of Microsoft, they rely on huge business units within Microsoft, rely on the very same infrastructure to deliver their revenue-producing services. So they're all in. They're using their own solution, the same solution that we're using. So that really helped allay a lot of our fears regarding security. Also, the data is our data. It's accessible only by us. We have a private cloud within the cloud, so there are multiple layers of security we've determined that really help to allay those particular fears. Network security is extremely robust. They use leading-edge firewalls and intrusion detection systems. As a tenant, you can secure your network via the provided virtual firewall. It allows one to limit access from only specific networks. Open ports or closed ports is required. In addition, Active Directory security policies, like I stated before, Active Directory is extended into the cloud. Your Active Directory security policies can be extended to the cloud, allowing the securing and management of servers as part of single domain. Security is layered. There are a lot of things that have to happen before somebody could get to your data. And the security components of the cloud, they have to be able to access the cloud network access level. Then they have to access your private network. Then they would have to access your file server. And then most applications also have application-specific security. So there's a lot of different components, a lot of different layers. It's not just your servers out there open to the public internet and inviting people to try to hack it. there are a lot of security layers and a lot of tools available to you to ensure that they are secure. Okay, the cloud's going to be expensive. I don't know if we can afford it. You can. The reality is that there are a lot of ancillary costs associated with premise-based platform. You have your new server procurement. Hopefully you get funded and you can get it, or you don't have to find some other means to pay for it, or refreshes. That's just a vicious cycle for us. Is we procure, then we have to refresh after a few years. There's operating system licenses. There's hardware maintenance and support, which is a big question mark with E right now, whether that's going to continue to be provided. Then there's repair. There's power and cooling. Once you decommission equipment, you can't just go throw it in a dumpster. There's EPA-regulated disposal methods that have to be utilized, and then documentation to show that that equipment was properly disposed of. There's none of that in a cloud-based server infrastructure. You pay based on utilization. You can scale up or scale down as needed. That's one of the great virtues of the cloud, is I pay only for what I use. All right, next slide. Okay, why did we choose Windows Azure? Well, we were already using Microsoft. Microsoft is an outstanding partner of ours. They're a huge player in the K-12 school district space. Microsoft Windows Azure is recognized leader in the cloud. I mean, they are huge. We could leverage the existing training and knowledge and skill sets of our existing support staff. So that was huge. Having to learn a new means of managing servers and deploying servers and new tools for monitoring availability and performance. We didn't want to have to go through that, and we didn't want to have multiple tools for managing premise-based and cloud-based. So the ability to leverage and utilize our existing training and immediately start being able to apply that towards the cloud was a huge benefit to us, and one of the reasons why we picked Microsoft. Also, Microsoft is a very aggressively pursuing the K-12 market, and the EIS program, the Enrollment for Education Solutions program, offers Azure as part of that particular subscription. So if you're already an EIS member, if you subscribed via EIS, then you already have access to Azure cloud services at a pretty good price. So that was one of the reasons really that factored us going towards Microsoft as opposed, say, Google or Amazon or so forth. All right, next slide. All right, the Integrated Development District Development Platform at Texans Can. Not only are we a Microsoft customer, we are also an EIS education customer. And we have deployed and are currently deploying aspects of the Integrated Development Platform, or the suite of EIS products. We utilize Analytica, we utilize SchoolArc, and we heavily utilize Mentori. We, like every other school district, have silos of data. We have data that exists in other clouds that belong to other people, and our data may reside in a hosted student information system, in Eduphoria, in Renaissance, in our student nutrition information is in a separate set of servers hosted by a separate organization. We have data silos everywhere. And the beauty of this particular product and the implementation in the cloud is we are able to take all that data, pull it all in, aggregate it, put it into a common format that then we now can access data across sources, as opposed to having to reach out to individual sources, get one piece of data from point A, one from point B, one from point C, and then sit there in an Excel spreadsheet and try to figure out how do I piece all this together. Analytica is a huge component and a huge benefit to us. The EIS hosts the EIS component of the cloud, the data factory and the components of the cloud that they offer us are the data repository and the connections to all the outlying sources of data. We also have premise-based systems that house data that feed into the central database as well. Our accounting information is not cloud hosted. It is runs on a server here on premise, on the SQL database, and all the data is on premise. So we're able to pipe that data in. We're able to pipe data in from our student information system. We're able to pipe data in state testing from another system. We're able to plug in student assessments and performance from a separate system, get all that information and aggregate it all and present it in the form of dashboards using the analytical product. So this is actually a Texans Can implementation that you're seeing here. In addition to the EIS components, we also have standard infrastructure stuff in our cloud. We have domain controllers, we have FTP servers, we have SQL databases, we host our websites out of Azure Cloud. We are in the process of migrating a premise-based virtual desktop VDI, desktop virtualization technology that we currently use to the cloud to make it more scalable and also be able to access it more easily from outside of our schools. So we understand the promise of the cloud, and we are committed to moving as much of our process services to it as we can, understanding that there is no way you can move everything. There are going to be components that just make sense to keep on premise. So I'm certainly not here to advocate that, hey, everything you own, you can have a zero footprint data center and move it all up to the cloud. There are certain things that just need to reside on premise, print servers, domain controllers, radio servers for authentication, various things that kind of need to sit at the premise to, and just makes more sense to have it at the premise. So this is an overview of our implementation. We have implemented Mentori, we've implemented SchoolArc, and we've implemented Analytica. Next slide. All right, so you had the results of the survey, and you heard what EIS had to say, and now I'm going to correlate some of that to what we see as the school and how the tools really help us in those areas. So because of the type of student that we serve, information delivered quickly and accurately is critical. I mean, being able to identify areas and to quickly react and intervene, it allows us to positively impact our students and increase positive outcomes. Almost all of our kids are academically at risk. They're all at risk of either dropping out, their circumstances in their life, work, or at home or whatever that don't allow them to really succeed in traditional environments. So they're all borderline, and we need to closely monitor and track their performance in school to find out if something is going on. If we notice a downtick in their grades or their attendance, we can reach out to the student and find out, is there something going on at home? Is there something happening at the school that we need to be aware of? Is it something where we're seeing trends that are established that there's a downtick in grades in a particular classroom or on a particular subject or at a particular school? So that type of data, we need it as quickly and accurately as possible so that we can immediately intervene and address those issues so that the student stays in school, completes school, and graduates. So we're here really to help them. Data is critical. For us, it is hyper-critical. Okay, when it comes to improving student outcomes, we use the live dashboards in Analytica, and we do, and the analytics are also Analytica. So the analytics, that allows us to take that data, compile it, present it in graph form, numeric form, however we choose to have it presented, and it gives us the data, and our school administrators, teachers, principals, district staff, the information they need. The differentiated professional development, we use Mentori for that. The Mentori product allows our principals to do classroom observations, make notes, record videos, and attach them to the observation. It keeps track of how many times our mentors and our professional development staff visit each teacher, what they were instructed on, and so forth. So really, the Mentori product allows us to deliver that differentiated professional development. The online repository, Mentori and Analytica utilize that to access the data for those particular programs. So the online repository is of a great benefit to those two particular applications. Cloud-based technologies, it allows us to deploy and scale rapidly. It allows us to securely provide that central repository for multi-vendor systems data, and it really facilitates us being able to access that data externally. One of the hardest things as an IT director is how can I provide access to data contained within my premise without risking the data that's in my premise. So the cloud with a higher level of security and configurability, it's just easier to put data that you need externally accessed out in an Azure platform because it's just so much easier to configure it and secure it and to get to it. So I'm not having to buy huge amounts of bandwidth to run right into my premise-based data center. I can use the benefits of the cloud, and people can use the benefits of the internet to access that cloud. The co-op approach, we are really pretty proficient at supporting the infrastructure ourselves. In the case that we do need additional help, whether it be customization for the application or whether we need additional help on the technology side with the infrastructure components that make up the integrated district development platform, we're able to tap into EIS education and get what I call co-op pricing. Their support people are there to support multiple schools, and I get the benefit of having that cost split out over many schools. So the same things that give you that, you may be a small school and not really be able to get a really big volume discount with a singular vendor. Well, if you apply that towards the type of support and the cost of support through EIS, we're able to get co-op pricing. We're able to leverage better pricing because they are supporting multiple schools, and we don't have to hire a full-time person or hire a contractor to do this. Collaboration tools, SchoolArc and Analytica both have collaboration capabilities. Analytica is geared more towards internal collaboration between teachers, administrators, between administrators and teachers, and all various aspects of the school district all the way down to the campus. And then SchoolArc provides a nice collaborative tool with students, for students to collaborate with teachers, teachers to collaborate with students, parents to provide input and collaborate as well. So it really gives an outward face to the school and to our organization, and allows parents to really take a more active enrollment and students to take a more active participation in the school environment. So we are a user of the platform, and we are a user of Microsoft Azure even without the platform. But so I thought it would be beneficial certainly to have a school district or somebody that is in the technology of the school district speak to these issues, because I understand where you're coming from. We've been there. We had the same fears. We had the same concerns. We had the same need for data, the timely data, dealing with silos of data. And we feel that we've really gotten the right solution to help move us forward and help make our schools better, help graduate more of our students, and also continue to deliver and raise the bar when it comes to delivering services, technology services, and data to the people that need it. So it's been a great pleasure talking to you. I'll turn it back over.
All right. Well, thank you, Richard. That was a great amount of information about how you use not only Windows Azure, but also the EIS education solution. Also want to thank Scott Fields for his overview of the EIS education solution. If you have any questions about what you've heard in this presentation today, please reach out to Scott Fields. His information is here on this slide. I think they offer a great opportunity for organizations to save money, help meet some of those top priorities that you learned about within the presentation and really utilize the Windows Azure Cloud Platform. Thank you for joining us on this presentation, and we hope that you have a great day.